The first season of Born Again was kind of a mess, and season two is one united creative team. Surely this is it. Surely this is going to be on par with the original series, and we're going to get into some really great stuff. And I think this season absolutely is a massive step up from the first. There's so much that I enjoyed here. And yet, still, I find myself thinking there's something missing. And we may never know. It may literally be impossible to get whatever it is missing because that would just be season four of the original show. But Born Again's back and it's fine still, but better than last time.
Yeah, way more focused. The reshoots and there's loads of creative differences how to handle Daredevil as a character. But this time round, it also built upon the mythology around New York about the other vigilantes like Swordsman, Jessica Jones. It's a good chunk of stuff to explore right here in this show. It does build up for season three. There's some really bold choices that they've done for this season, which I do respect. I thought it's stronger this time.
This is the Out of Time Film Podcast, where your hosts Tom and John discuss everything from blockbuster films to TV and games like there's no tomorrow.
We explore New York under lockdown and the growing tension between Fisk and the people of New York and the anti-vigilante task force and all this stuff. This season with Fisk, that mask kind of comes off for people in the show. Like, obviously for the audience, we've always known the kind of person that he is, but we see New York turn on him. I think that's very interesting because that happens with politicians all the time. People lose faith in what they have said. And obviously this is an exaggerated version of that, but I really enjoyed how this season was giving us that angle, especially when so much of season one, the Fisk stuff I found pretty dull.
There's a lot more things to focus on with Daniel and BB. They do want to protect each other from Fisk, but also from this crazy guy, Buck. That was way more interesting from season one to here. Great choices to explore.
I actually think that the Daniel and BB storyline was my favorite of the season. It's not intertwined with any action or anything like that, but I just really loved, from Daniel's perspective, this struggle of somebody who has put all of his faith in a political figure who he's realizing actually isn't in the people's best interest and is kind of exactly what everyone's been telling him he is. But with Daniel this time, the struggle between him as this guy in his 20s wanting to have relationships and have fun, but also being intertwined in something so devastating that's causing so many people so much pain, and him having to make a choice to do what's right and not in his own interest. And BB kind of helps him along that line. I thought that was really, really great stuff. And it's a shame because I don't think there's nearly as much captivating stuff with Daredevil or Karen.
Yes.
Of course, this is Matt Murdock's show, and so for him not to have the most interesting part of it is just a real letdown, I thought.
It feels weird, doesn't it? It's just like the idea from Daredevil, the original series, how Matt really wants to use the court and use justice to bring down Fisk. When we switch to here, what else can we explore? And I think there should be a bit more of a character arc to realize his faith in himself and his faith with other people. He doesn't want to kill people, and he almost killed Poindexter. So I think that should have been a bit more conflict to see how he rounds up people. It reminds me of Dark Knight Returns, with the Sons of Batman. They all see justice in a completely different way, and Batman's like, no, don't use guns. So I think there should have been a bit more to see how Daredevil gets around with the public in this season.
There's a really great moment in the finale with Daredevil, with the angry public, just like what you're saying. That's a moment that I just thought was so brilliant. And I think because Daredevil's on the run constantly and hiding in the shadows, and so is Matt, you get less of that. We see people wearing Daredevil masks as kind of like memorabilia. It's clear that Daredevil has inspired people, but we don't really get a lot of moments to see that. I would have liked to get to see Daredevil as this figurehead when he spent so much time in the original series in the shadows. We just kind of get more of that rather than doing the idea of Daredevil actually inspiring the regular folk of New York.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that he's going towards justice, but also maybe taking leadership, maybe in terms of like how Fisk is the mayor, and he's also that kind of like leadership. And I would love to see something with Matt, like how does he tackle leadership and how does he get people to justice?
Yeah, it's kind of like you brought up Batman earlier, but it's like the Batman. He learns that he's not just a tool for vengeance, he can be a symbol and a hero. I don't necessarily think Matt needs to learn that lesson, but I do think he could have a little bit more. I mean, there is a lot going on in this season. We've only got 8 episodes, which is less than last season. I think this show has the lowest runtime of any Daredevil series. So in the original show, every series was over 11 hours long. In Born Again Season 1, it was 7 hours. In this season, we only have 6 hours and 29 minutes, and that's fine. There are some great shows that can do a lot with even less than that. I think there are MCU shows that are 6 episodes and do a lot with that time. But we have so much going on in this season. We got Fisk and Vanessa, we've got Heather, we've got Matt and Karen, we've got Bullseye, we've got the Task Force, we've got Jessica Jones, we've got Daniel and Bibi and Buck, we've got the other lawyer whose name I can't remember, we got Cherry, we got Matthew Lillard's in this, we got the Swordsman, just piling on and on and on. And genuinely, I just think that what this season needed to do, and it did do in some respects, but didn't do enough of, you need to cut down your cast. This is all overcomplicated.
Yeah, with Heather as well, I think this is setting up for season 3.
Yes.
How she slowly descends into this whole persona with Muse, like how Muse attacked her, and then still got a bit of PTSD from that. She completely changes as a character. So it's interesting from season 1. I like the decision that it's more, she's got PTSD from that has an impact with the other characters, like how it's going to impact season 3. But I wish he was kind of a bit stronger as well, because it was just there and it doesn't really go anywhere until the finale. It's just something that could have been a bit stronger to see. So ultimately, there's some great ideas here, but it just doesn't seem to go anywhere.
Yeah, it comes to a point where so many things in this season are, this is going to be great in season 3. I'm sure it will be great in season 3, but you need to give more in season 2 to make this part of the story feel a bit more complete. The Fisk story does feel complete, but stuff around it, I don't know if I felt satisfied. And maybe that's the point. Maybe we're just being impatient. But I really enjoyed the stuff with Heather because I thought that the Muse stuff in season 1 was super underwhelming, and this makes it more interesting. It gives it lasting impact and character weight beyond what I pretty much saw in season 1 as just a catalyst to bring Daredevil back. That's what I thought Muse was. And here, to see the lasting impacts on Heather and to see that that's going to carry on and is going to kind of cause this insanity for her, that's really interesting. But as you say, the plotline just massively disappears after a few episodes, and then it comes back here and there. But again, we're dealing with so much that it's like, I would instead rather have some whispers here and there of a bit of PTSD and then really focus on it in episode 7 or 8 and towards the back half of the season, instead of not really focusing on it at all and just kind of throwing it in every now and again.
Can we talk about the editing of like all the fight scenes? Oh my god, guys, the cinematography, it's so all over the place. Like with the editing, you can't really focus. At the end as well, I think there should be like a one-shot thing.
Yeah.
That's just high expectations for me, guys.
I don't think it is. The styles of quick cut action has been criticized a lot, and I don't think it's high expectation for us to say a show that's a sequel to a show that had such great single take action should devote some time to that, because it doesn't really. The other main thing that I think is really important to talk about is the viewing figures. Now, there's a lot to discuss here. Are you aware of all this?
No. Do tell me.
Okay. I've got a bunch of information here. So, none of the first 6 episodes of the show hit the Nielsen weekly top 10 streaming charts. None of season 1 episodes did either, and that is some really dreadful metrics. In its first 5 weeks, this season gained 4.5 million views, which is a decline of around 46% from season 1. Let's remember that Ironheart, Wonder Man, Agatha, and Echo all did better than this. So, the fans wanted this show, it stars popular characters, and it's a failure. Again, I'm sorry to say it, but the fans aren't the people that streamers should be listening to. Brad Winderbaum recently said that She-Hulk was one of the most popular shows, and that doesn't get a second season. This, which is a failure across tons of perspectives, gets 3 seasons. And of course, I don't see anyone noting that a show led by 2 white men is one of the biggest Marvel Disney Plus failures. All this noise online, none of it contributes to real figures that mean something.
Damn. Wow. Yeah, I've never thought about viewing figures. I mean, there is a shift with Marvel. Like, recently, we got news about Wonder Man getting season 2, and, people want to see more of that. But what I see here is that it should have been way more investigated with how they should have brought him back. Well, it's MCU, it's Disney, and the creative team behind the Netflix series did so well. That is so weird with the viewing figures. Obviously, that tells you there are people that do want to see something different.
I don't think that the audiences translate from Netflix to Disney Plus, and don't get me wrong, I'm extremely happy to be getting getting season 3. But not to say there isn't good. I mean, Bullseye. I think the Bullseye stuff is consistently very good as well.
There was one episode where we open up with him. He has a morning routine. He gets out of bed. Like, everything's so jolly and grand. It's like that Muppet movie. You know, like when they sing, everything's great.
That's Benjamin Poindexter's song.
That's his song, guys. That's his theme. We see him just taking the whole task force down in this diner. That's great to see a bit of a change in his character, like how he's always searching for one good deed after killing Foggy. Is it forgiveness, or is it more about connection to say, yeah, I want to do some good after the whole thing? Like, all the things that Poindexter went through in season 3, my God, he was actually going to find some help from a girl that he really liked. Like, hey, I am looking for change. I want to be someone else. And then Fisk is like, no, you are not changing, buddy. It's great to see him have a bit of a change. But then again, this is a common thing that happens in this season, is that it does come up now and again. He gets saved by Daredevil, and I wish there was just something stronger. That's why it just, what's going on? What's the recipe?
At the end of the season, we find him going off somewhere, and it's like, okay, again, we're just setting up more stuff for later. And I'm very interested in this whole philosophy he has, because for Vanessa Fisk to manipulate him into killing Foggy, the idea that he then wants to atone for that, we do get some really good stuff with that. But the moments we get to explore that, instead of spending time to do that, we instead get a whole flashback episode to before season 1.
That was so weird. Like, the whole change in aspect ratio, the whole change in color grading. That's great, guys. But there was some really good stuff to explore with Bullseye and Daredevil. That was such a bizarre episode, because there's some lovely stuff to see, you know, season 1, how Foggy and Matt work together, and then how it leads up to Fisk meeting Vanessa. Wesley's there. It was great to see, but then it's like, oh yeah, it's like, what if the show just continued to look like that? I don't know.
The flashback episode does something really interesting in that, well, I guess this is the best time to go into spoilers. But
yeah, spoilers, guys. Spoilers. Massive spoilers, actually.
Yeah. We revisit Foggy and this idea of mercy, and Matt relives Foggy's lesson of how important it is to show mercy, and that becomes this beautiful moment where Matt can forgive Bullseye, and I think that whole thing is just fantastic. But then also, we get like Daredevil Origins book. It's just like the second half of that episode, the Fisk stuff, committing to an entire episode of flashback, essentially. I don't think they knew what to do with Fisk. And so they were like, yeah, we're going to tie Buck into this somehow.
They were like, go, random bullshit, go. Like, they were just trying to get everything stuck on with Fisk. Which I don't blame. It's hard to do Fisk with everything that's going on. It's hard to go throughout the series missing Foggy, because Foggy is an essential character to Matt. Seeing that flashback also hurts a bit more throughout the season. It's tough. It's tough without in this series.
Yeah, it makes Matt's decision to forgive Bullseye even more powerful, because you see what Bullseye has taken. It's a good reminder of what everyone's fighting for, and of course, I'll never bemoan more Foggy. But when you got so much going on in the present day narrative and so much that we need to go deeper into, I think this is a little bit of a waste of time. Yeah, so like it was a little bit of a shame there, because that episode, I'm much more interested in what Fisk is going through, because Bullseye ends up killing Vanessa. We're seeing Fisk try desperately to bring her back at the hospital with surgery, and he succeeds, but then ultimately she dies anyway. And just to see his pain, like Vincent D'Onofrio's performance in that episode, with his voice kind of losing a lot of its gruffness, it peels back these layers of pain. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I don't understand why, therefore, we had to do all those flashbacks, which weren't necessarily telling me anything I didn't already know.
Yeah, I was also invested too. That point where he loses Vanessa, I thought there's going to be way more of a shake-up. Like, him going Super Saiyan, like, basically. Yeah. Like, you don't want to see him angry. So, he's obviously grieving. Like, throughout, I think it was episode 6 or 7 where he doesn't speak at all, which was interesting. But I think there should have been a bit more of, okay, this is where things are going to actually shake up. From 5 or 6, it just seems to do a bit of like, yeah, we gotta take down this area with Jessica Jones and Daredevil taking down this area where Fisk has all his weapons.
Does that make a big difference? Because
no.
The task force still has all its weapons. I mean, the task force is a really interesting element. Obviously, there is so much real world parallels to be drawn there. The main task force guy is so incredibly unlikable. I mean, just fantastic performance. He's the worst. I want to see him and Matt in prison where they've both ended up. But yeah, like some of this stuff just felt like it wasn't actually making an impact. It feels like we're not actually peeling back Fisk's power. And the Jessica Jones element of it, we knew she was back from the trailer. And I don't know if that was the right thing to reveal because she doesn't really do much. And I was expecting a little bit more exploration into her. And there's this really, so she's got a child now with Luke Cage. And it's a really interesting idea that since childbirth, that has really altered her powers and has really impacted her. That is very, very interesting because that's something that happens. Childbirth does affect women in crazy ways. So to make that an element of her character was great, but we don't actually really get to explore that or how she feels about it. It's just kind of in passing, and then she leaves, then she comes back for action scenes, then leaves again. And it's like she doesn't really feel like a part of New York. It feels like many TV shows, they don't know what to do with the character, so they bring him in, and then they go, oh, I've got to look after my kid now. Bye.
And then she comes back as well.
Yeah.
The creator did talk about this where they could have placed Jessica Jones in end of episode 1 as a teaser to like round up people against Fisk. It was a bizarre choice to put her midway of the story. What are these choices? You know, like what is the definite need to have Jessica Jones or Luke Cage or maybe the rest of the Defenders in this? So like what's the plan for that? If you want to have Jessica Jones like actually explore something.
I'd love to see her get, and this goes for all the Defenders, a special presentation. I don't need a whole season, but give me an hour long of just what have these guys been up to, what's their mental state. And it is good that we bring back Jessica Jones because it is so weird watching New York having trouble, and it's like, where's the cavalry?
Where's Spider-Man? I'm sorry,
Where's Spider-Man?
Spider-Man's on Ford Watch. He is on Ford Watch right now. He's on Ford.
Where did he go?
Where was he?
We know that Luke Cage is off somewhere, so fair enough, Luke. Iron Fist, where
Yeah.
you at? Colleen Wing, Misty Knight, Kate Bishop, where are you guys? Genuinely, you just hanging out? I do think it's more powerful in the final episode if it's the people of New York that are the ones to fight Fisk. I loved that scene of,
Yes.
despite the awful way it was edited, I love that scene of him beating all the civilians down, and then, as I alluded to earlier, Matt is tearing them off him, being like, no, we're better than this. That's great stuff. It's much better than just seeing a bunch of superheroes run at him. I think this has more power, but at the same time, Spider-Man's the main one. It's like, where the frick is this guy? I mean,
I think he's just going through some existential crisis. Oh yeah, with Punisher as well.
I understand why they didn't have Punisher in this season. You know, obviously it's Daredevil gets the spotlight. He's got a great black suit with the double D's. Finally, those juicy double D's. He's got the logo. I love it. And the way that the black paint flakes off as the show goes on and it gets more and more red. This is the best that Charlie Cox's Daredevil has looked easily.
Hold on, Tom.
What?
I think we're forgetting something very important. After the whole shebang, the season finale went through a bit of a bold change. Matt finally revealed himself as Daredevil to the
Oh,
public.
yeah. I forgot about that.
Well, phew, we have to
God.
talk about it because that's such a pivotal point in this story. So it does feel weird, but yeah, sure, this is an interesting concept, and Matt has done this in the comics as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think that was a cool moment, but again, there should have been a bit of a build-up to do that. Does it feel a bit out of nowhere for you? It did for me.
Yeah, I don't know, because there's this idea of masks and whether it's cowardice to have a mask. It does link to that idea of freedom, but I don't know if it was the right thing. Matt reveals his identity as Daredevil, which means that basically every fear he has ever had about Matt Murdock being able to uphold the law is basically pointless now, because how the hell are you a lawyer when you've been out on the streets beating people up? Essentially, just he loses his whole life. Maybe he thinks that there is nothing after this. Maybe this is it for him, and he thinks that he's just going to be in prison for the rest of his life, and it's worth it. I mean, we've done 4 seasons of Fisk. Maybe this is a time to move away from it. I doubt we will, but maybe this is just Matt thinking, yeah, well, I'll take it because that's life over, so I can defeat this guy.
Yeah, I just don't know. Does it amount to his character arc? What was his character arc in this season? It just doesn't seem to be as focused. There could have been something to expand upon, throughout the season.
It didn't feel like it was a final resort. It didn't feel like there's no other way. But
Punisher, Punisher in. He's like, Judge, I would like to say, I loved it.
Yeah, just shoots Fisk in the head. Gotta give it to Matt for sticking to his morals still.
Yeah.
He could have let the people of New York tear Fisk apart. I do think it's good that he would rather spend the rest of his life in prison to take Fisk down than let Fisk die. It's something that I would like to go further into maybe in season 3. We've set up an interesting dynamic now for season 3, and I would would love to see these characters on the big screen. This season ends with Matt in prison. We know that there's stuff in prison with the hand in Spider-Man. Maybe he'll be in it. That would be
maybe.
great.
And then it has been leaked. Unfortunately, there's loads of paparazzi taking pictures of all the stuff that's going to be for season 3. It does look exciting. The creator said that this is going to be a connection from the comics with the devil in Cell Block D. So that's going to be interesting how Matt is going to fight against all the task force.
It is interesting because you end the season and it still feels like, oh, the story isn't complete. It still feels like a season that's building to the next. I did rewatch season 1 before this, and that feels like a season that is building and building and has a very abrupt ending. So it's good, even though we do get a cliffhanger to season 3, it's great that we get to kind of end this Mayor Fisk arc. There's actually a finale this time. Last time, the finale didn't necessarily feel final. And so it's like, I do think the build up to get there is kind of slow. Like, at the end of last season, Matt says, we need an army. And it's like, oh, okay, we're going to get an epic season 2. And then this season, we barely even get a hint of an army until maybe episode 6. And even then, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. We don't just jump into it. We're just like, yeah, Daredevil's doing Daredevil things, just investigating. I thought there's going to be way more captivating scenes with Matt struggling to get an army or to get people around to fight against Fisk.
But Matthew Lillard, I just don't understand why they had him in. He's this mysterious kind of kooky governmental force. He's very much on the same line as Val from Thunderbolts. He's basically there to be like, yeah, I'm a higher force than you, Fisk. You've got to answer to me. That never really goes anywhere. And it just felt like setup for season 3. And I was just a bit like, why are we wasting... you can cut scenes here. I mean, what does it show? Does it show that Fisk isn't completely in power? Okay, but he doesn't lose his power because of the people above him. He loses it because of the people of New York revolting and pushing back. So I don't really know what that was all about. Maybe season 3 will hit the peak. Maybe it'll be the final season. Who knows? But I can't in good conscience say that Daredevil Born Again deserves 3 seasons over She-Hulk or Miss Marvel or Moon Knight or Falcon and Winter Soldier. I don't know if it does. And let's hope it doesn't squander that. What are you going to give this season of Daredevil Born Again out of 10?
I feel like 7. I'm gonna go 7.
I think I might also go 7.
It's a season.
Yeah. No, I think I will. I think I will. Thank you everybody for listening. If listening on YouTube and you liked it, you can like and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're listening on Spotify, you can follow and give us a 5-star review if you think we're worthy. And next week, we're looking back on, I guess, the original Disney Plus show, just in general, The Mandalorian season 1, way back when.
We're going back in time.
We are indeed, and you can send us an email, outstinefilmpod@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on Mandalorian season 1, and we'll answer it right here on the podcast next week.
Yeah, so you can follow us on Instagram at outstinefilmpod to see our incredible thumbnails from Zain, on Twitter for more thoughts from Tom and me, and TikTok to see edited clips, which are all also on Instagram, Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And you can find links to that all in the description below. Thanks to Elle for the excellent theme, and Ronan for logos as always. And I think that's everything. Take away given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.